Here and seeing you all here with a bit of moisture around, which is fantastic. We just wanted to say a very heartfelt thank you. Myself, Commissioner Baxter, the Premier, we have been travelling a lot over the last few weeks, catching up with communities, catching up with local crews in all sorts of different areas. And on Wednesday we'll be back out to Tumut, and we're catching up with the Tumbarumba Fire and Rescue Team particularly, and some other local residents and relief centres. We cannot speak highly enough about the remarkable work that each and every one of you have done over the last few weeks, and Andrew, particularly Andrew Constance, the local member, has been right here in amongst all of it and has been communicating with us from day one. And we've done a couple of trips down the south coast now, and this is the second one where we've gone a little bit further south. And it's great that you've been able to give up some time this morning, albeit the conditions are a little calmer. We are all necessarily and understandably looking at what the damage is and what the destruction is and what the losses are. But please, when we're working with each other and talking with each other, without being insensitive or disrespectful in any way to those that have suffered so much loss, and indeed people have lost everything they've ever worked for, the reality is it would have been a whole lot worse if it wasn't for what you've done and what your colleagues have done working with local communities, far and wide. And starting out of the early days, I know plenty of people from south were up north helping out, and we've now got people down north helping out here, and it really has been a massive state effort, bolstered with colleagues from all over the country and from overseas. And we know there's still a challenge. We've still got work to do. We've still got firefighting going on as we speak, backburning and consolidation lines and containment lines all being established and worked on. So we still need a bit more of that moisture to fall out of the sky before we can declare things safe, and we've still got February to get through. But while we're in town here, thank you for coming out to catch up with us, and thank you very much for all that you've done. We've seen a tremendously tough period, but it would have been so much worth if it wasn't for all that you've done, and all those you represent who aren't here today have done throughout the district over the last few weeks. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Just so everyone knows, Gladys brought the rain.
No, I
We'll take her everywhere.
Firstly, can I say thank you isn't enough, but to everybody here at the Bemboka Brigade, you are all legends, because as I went around and spoke to everybody and heard some of the situations you were put in, but just to see how each and every one of you used every skill, every bit of training you had to fight what none of us saw coming, what none of us said was possible in this part of New South Wales, has been just outstanding and amazing. And you've done yourselves proud, you've done the brigade proud, and you've done New South Wales proud. And you can't bottle that kind of stuff up. And it's very humbling to go around and meet communities like yours that you've managed to pull together. And we know that whilst the fires aren't an imminent threat today or tomorrow, that the rebuilding is going to be a challenge, and we will be looking us to pull together. But can I really thank the local leadership and John? Really appreciate you're a Bemboka boy, Bemboka man. But to everybody here, the various levels of leadership that have just in every way come together and support each other. And one of the proudest things I did today is shake the hands of all the new cadets that are going to walk in the footsteps of those of you who've been around longer, and the future of this community is sustained and assured. So I get to say this because I'm the Premier. I want to thank you on behalf of the people of New South Wales. And I mean that sincerely. A lot of you gave up your own safety, your own security to go and help other people. And that's the kind of volunteerism that Australians are known for. And certainly that will be the overwhelming feeling I have on Australia Day. People step up, work together, defend their communities and help others. I'm deeply grateful for that. And I also want to say in front of this community how deeply grateful I am for Andrew Constance, who's just been an outstanding local member. And I know this community is in good hands, because the second he needs something or sees something, he's on the phone to the right people making sure it happens. So make sure you keep talking to him. Take care of him whilst we're not here. Make sure he gets enough sleep. But can I say, I never imagined that our state would be facing the significant challenges it has, but when I look around this community more broadly, it's brought out the best in us. And it's thrown me to get to meet some wonderful Australians I would never have met otherwise. And the way that I've been able to work for Commissioner Fitzsimmon and Commissioner Baxter, who've done an amazing job in leading the emergency services across the state, has been a real privilege. So thank you, keep up the wonderful work, and please know how much it's appreciated by the broader community, not just your own local community here. Thank you very much.
Just to begin, the gratitude that the community has for you guys is unbelievable, and it's with reason. And your loved ones and your family members have also, in some cases I've been a bit upset about the number of volunteers who actually lost homes themselves. Jen and I live next to one, and we can't thank you enough. Your bravery, sometimes being in places you shouldn't have been, I guess, just to protect lives. So, thank you for all the training and the hard work that you put in beyond just a major fire event. And we'll talk about the 2020's fire, in years to come. It can't happen without strong leadership at the top. So Shane, again, thank you in front of everyone here. He is a great Australian. There is no doubt about it. And I think the big thing is, as we get through this from a recovery perspective, Gladys and I aren't going away. It's not a case of just turn up a couple of days after a fire and then just say, yeah, tick the box. We've got months, if not years, of recovery. We've got farmers who are going to take years to rebuild their herds and their stocks. And there's no doubt this fire event, Jen and I live up at Bateman's Bay in the Lure Bay. It's gone all the way to the Melody, and everything in between. It's just so hard. For Bemboka, I've always felt just lately, we've got to get a bit more focus here, and that's the great thing about being here today. So, the recovery here is as important as it is anywhere. So, just know we're going to be here for the long term. John, thank you for what you do with the local brigade. As Shane has just said, we're still not out of the fire season, unfortunately. So, hang in there and just know your community loves you. Thanks very much.
So low. But it's been worth it having a Bemboka pie. Thank you, gang.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.